Hello everyone, Warhammer. This IP is one of the most hoard out pieces of media to ever exist. It started out as a tabletop game by Games Workshop where you and your friends get together to roll dice and kill each other's armies. But Warhammer is so much more than that. There's multiple settings, books, and most importantly, there's video games, which range from straight garbage to unreasonably good for no reason. As for Warhammer Boltgun, it's of the unreasonably good variety. I sorta ignored this game for a while, and now that I see how fun it is, I realize that I'm just a big, dumb baby. Watch me do shit. If you are into the boomer shooter genre, no. If you like good video games, you gotta play Boltgun. You don't need to worry about knowing any Warhammer lore other than that you are an Ultramarine in the Imperium of Man, tasked at destroying every Xeno and demon in your path. Even though you are tasked at destroying the actual forces of hell, just know that Space Marines are basically like insanely racist crusaders, but some are even more racist and more insane. And that's part of the fun of the setting, because every faction is a different flavor of evil is fucked up. The story here is basically non-existent, and that's totally fine because this game does one thing and it does it extremely well. The game is filled to the brim with gore and it's unashamed of what it is. Initially you start out armed only with your chainsword, which is fun in of itself, but when you initially see your bolt gun, you see that it's literally on a pedestal as if it's some holy artifact you just uncovered. Boltgun has a slew of fun weapons ranging from your trusty bolt gun, which can pull you through basically any situation as the bolt gun literally fires mini missiles at your enemies, to the heavy bolter, which is just a bolter, but LMG-full, to the appropriately named Vengeance Launcher, which fires sticky grenades, but my personal favorite is the classic shotgun. It's simple, it's reliable, and it is so satisfying. You don't want to get your Fauci ouchie? It'll destroy healthcare. You want to turn a heretic into a pile of gore? It does that in spades. You want to participate in the Great War? It will make Germany try to ban you. Every weapon here has a purpose, and you'll find a niche use for each one as you progress through the game. We need to talk about the sound design now, and oh my god, the thumping of your walk sounds heavy but fierce. The chainsword is intense. All of your guns sound meaty and powerful, like my dick. This game is a love letter to retro shooters of old, and this is both a good thing and a bad thing. The game has aesthetics in spades and fully understands what Warhammer is supposed to be, which is fun. I mean, there is a dedicated shit talk button, and if you idle long enough, the Space Marine will start reading the Codex Astartes because it's Warhammer. If this doesn't show a dedication and love for the setting, then I don't know what does. Like I said before, the game does one thing and it does it well, but despite the variety of guns and enemies, the game can become repetitive. All of the levels involve you running from point A to point B, finding keys and going into kill rooms to purge all the demons. These purge rooms are actually where the game shines the most, as most of them are pretty well designed and fun to move around. But if you're like me, then the key system is the bane of your existence. It's definitely one of those games where you'll get lost and the only indication that you've been somewhere will be all the mangled bodies on the floor. Listen, I like a good adventure as much as the next guy, but retreading through what appears to be Chirac over and over again gets old pretty quickly. One level in particular was egregious as it mainly takes place in a single arena and you need to find 3 keys to get through. I found the first key in the arena itself and assumed that the other 2 were also in the arena, but after walking around for literally 20 minutes, I found out that the keys were actually off to the side and that the level was actually much larger than the super complex battle arena. Sometimes this game needs to clarify where you're supposed to go, and sometimes the game is kind of bullshit. There were a few instances where the game was saved in a spot where I had little health and it was in front of enemies, so I died quickly and repeatedly. That being said, the level design is varied and interesting. You got snow levels, gothic cities, places overrun with Tzeentch corruption that force you to maneuver around a bunch of teleporters. My personal favorite was the desert levels. These ones really made it feel like I was the one on the hunt for Warhammer. There is a stretch in this game where you need to jump from platform to platform to get to the end, and it's fuck! Shit! Are you serious? Fuck! The worst part of the game, this game is fun because you get to run around and gun down demons. This section forces you to slow down and fight a bunch of powerful enemies in a bunch of tight platforms with little room to move around. That's not to mention that some of these platforms have aspiring champions, which are melee only, they move fast, and they delete your health bar if they touch you. I'm sure the devs were cackling to themselves when they made this section, but I hate jokes. If nothing else, I can say that this game has made me realize that I shouldn't be reflecting on my racist past, but should instead focus on my racist future. Now, despite my criticisms, the game is overall a pretty damn good package. It's always a good sign when my main complaint is that select sections that make up maybe 5% of the package are just poorly constructed. The movement and combat are tight and satisfying. Visually, the game is pleasant to look at, and if you're a Warhammer fan, you need to play this game, which you probably have already. If you're not a Warhammer fan, you should still play this game because at its core, it's a fun experience that just so happens to have a Warhammer 40k skin on it. All in all, it's a solid 4 out of 5. If it weren't for select sections and a, at times, poor saving system, I would have given it a solid 5 out of 5, but them's the haps. And that's the Boltgun review. Go play it and watch my other videos, and have a good day.